And I thought at first, I just don't like female characters who don't seem to get to do much, or they're just the girlfriend of the person doing all the interesting things. But it was more specifically that I wanted something to happen for my character that she could create herself, who were in charge of their own fate. The most significant role for me was Accidental Tourist. That was the first time I read a book where I thought, they're gonna make a movie out of this. I want to be the character. I'm gonna hate whoever gets to play this part. And then it was me. It's my first screen test. There were 4 finalists for the role, and oh man, it was the most stressful thing ever. I couldn't believe how stressed I was about it. The day of the Oscars, and I put on the TV, and it was the Oprah show, and she was interviewing movie reviewers about who did they think who was going to win what category. And right when I turned it on, they were doing Best Supporting Actress. I'm like, oh, okay, having my spaghetti. And the only thing they agreed on was that I was the least likely to win, that I was absolutely no way. Well, I went into a sort of daze when they announced my name. I can't remember walking up there, and Melanie Griffith and Dawn Johnson presented the award, and she gave me a little kiss when I went up. And the whole time I was talking, I was thinking, I think I might have a big lipstick print of it. So I kept doing this, and it ended up looking like I was very shy or something, but I was actually like trying to tell if I had lipstick on my face. My then boyfriend got cast as the Fly, and he recommended me to David Cronenberg. Cronenberg and the producer were worried about that because what if you break up? You know, what if it doesn't work? It was the best experience. It was, we just lived and breathed that movie. All we did was work on it and talk about it and rehearse it and really make it our own. You know, we lived that experience, and it was incredible. I ended up getting really used to lots of weird stuff. You know, I did another movie with Jeff where he was a blue alien. I've done a lot of stuff that has special effects. My bug face was The Fly and Beetlejuice back to back, yes. I didn't have to audition for it. I met with Tim Burton to talk about it, and I said to him, you know what, I gotta tell you, I get this movie, and I really want to be in it. And he thought later, wow, you know, I don't feel like I get it. And so it'll be very handy to have someone on set who thinks they completely get the movie. So that's why he picked me. And obviously he didn't need anything from me. You know, he's a genius. I don't know, I think I just got the tone of it, you know, and how that dry humor that he has, and how matter of fact our characters were about being dead was very charming to me. No, there was one scene where I'm opening the door, and, you know, outside the house was no longer a reality. It was like this crazy desert. And I was supposed to open the door and see a giant sandworm. So action, I open the door, I go, and he says, no, Geena, the sandworm is very tall, very big. Okay. Whatever came along that was good. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You don't have that kind of control unless you're incredibly successful and incredibly fussy, and things are coming to you. Well, shall I choose this fabulous comedy or this fabulous drama? It doesn't happen that way. I'm very fortunate that I've been able to be in every kind of genre and style of movie. I've never been typecast, which is just fantastic. I mean, I'm so lucky. I've been in period pieces and science fiction and horror and all kinds of stuff, and it's all great. Somebody told me there's this fabulous script floating around, every actress in town wants to be in it, and you should get a hold of the script. And my agent, a small agency, did, and said, but it's already been cast. Well, I read it and I was like, oh my God, I love this. Oh no. Ridley Scott was the producer at that time. He was not the director. My agent and I decided that he would call Ridley's office every week and say, if anything happens, Geena, you know, is passionate about this. And he did that. He started doing that, and then eventually heard that director had fallen out. And my agent said, can Geena meet the new director? No, he already knows who he wants for Thelma and Louise. happened again. So there were 3 sets of Thelma and Louise before it was Susan Sarandon. So finally, Ridley decided, the people I'm talking to don't understand this movie. I'm going to direct it myself. And so my agent said, "Can Geena meet with you?" And he said, yes. She's very, very persistent. It's been a year that I've got weekly phone calls about her. So yes, I will meet with her. So I went to meet with him, and I had, all this prep. I'd actually worked on the movie with an acting coach while somebody else was cast in it, is how crazy I was. I'm pouring out my heart about why I absolutely have to be in this movie and play Louise. And he finally says, right, so, but in other words, you wouldn't play Thelma. And I said, what's so interesting, as I've been listening to myself talk, I realized I'm not right for Louise. I should play Thelma. And I just made shit up about why I absolutely had to be Thelma. And so I ended up signing a contract that I would play either part because they hadn't found who the other person was going to be yet. And of course, once it was Susan Sarandon, I of course had to be Thelma. I had never met a woman who didn't start everything she said with the words, "This is probably a stupid idea. Maybe we shouldn't, but should," and then end the comment with a question mark. And that's how I was and had always been. And at the first meeting with her and Ridley, I was stunned. The first thing she said was like, "Why don't we lose my first line?" I was like, "What just happened?" And I look at him and he's like, "Yeah, you're right. Why do we need that?" And the entire movie was like that. It was just like taking a bath in a world where women say what they think and don't get any consequences for it. It was just natural and accepted. And I wanted to be like her from the second I met her. We're still each other's ride or die, and my whole life has been, when am I going to be like you? Because you keep getting more spectacular. I can never catch up. It was kind of a small movie. It had a rather small budget. We wondered what people were going to think about the ending, and we were shocked. We were shocked. Nobody thought, well, where are we? And I think probably if you think that while you're making something, this is going to be special and important, it's going to wreck it. All the press said, this will change everything. This is just, this is groundbreaking, mind-blowing. It's going to change everything. We're like, hot dog, we're in a movie that changes everything. We're just sitting back, waiting for all this change. Nothing. A League of Their Own is the highest grossing baseball movie of all time. So what does that say of all baseball movies? It is. It is. It still is. It's amazing. I've actually been in 2 movies directed by women. Martha Coolidge directed a movie called Angie that I was in, and Penny Marshall. And, people want to know that, but it's really not that. From my experience, it's not that different, They had a lot of interviewers come to the set to see what it was like and interview the cast. And so I did a lot of interviews for that movie. Every single one said, "So is there a lot of cat fighting, because you're all women?" I was like, what are you talking about? It was so weird. And also, almost everyone said, "So would you call this movie a feminist movie?" As if they're asking something so naughty. And this is 90s, whatever. And I would say, yeah. What? Yes? Yeah. Sure, why not? It's women doing stuff that men usually do. Can we say that? I was like, yes. Yes, it is. Because it was kind of the time where people would say, I'm not a feminist, but. So I definitely wanted to counteract that. Rennie Harlan was going to direct that film for New Line. We loved that movie. We loved it. And getting to work with Sam Jackson, who's the greatest guy in the universe. We had to do so many insane things, and he was like, all right, whatever it was. Rennie wanted me to do all my stunts myself, which was insanity. Sam Jackson and I, we fall into a hole in ice in a frozen lake which supposedly I shot the hole with a machine gun as we were falling toward the lake. I kept waiting for this scene to be shot where we would go to where there was a fake ice hole, obviously. And no, they drove us to a lake where they had cut a hole in the ice, a real, hole. We had wetsuits under our clothes, and we had to get in the hole. When Rennie said, actually, we're supposed to go under the water and pop up and crawl away. So he says action. It felt to me like someone had hit me in the head with a concrete block. I was blind, I couldn't hear, I couldn't think. Like an ice cream headache, but of your whole body. We came up out of the water, we crawled. They had a hot tub. We crawl into the hot tub, and Sam's lighting a cigarette, and I'm like, I've got this flask, and we're like, oh, we did it, man. I can't believe it, thank God it's over. You have to do it again. What? So we ended up having to do it 3 times because we didn't go deep enough. People were asking me if he was trying to kill me on that movie, yeah. And I was wondering that myself. But if you dare me to do something, I will do it, so.